Hello everyone, this is Sinema77, horror and cult film lover, and I'm back with another shelf video. Before I get started on shelf number 13, I just wanted to take a real quick look at the very first video I ever did for my channel. I showed off my Grindhouse releasing collection, and there they still are. And there you can see The Beyond, Cannibal Ferox, Cannibal Holocaust, Can't in the Brain, I Drink Your Blood in Pieces. And yeah, I've always had those, and my very first video was showing my collection of those, and I know there's still more, but that's just what I got for now. Okay, so anyway, sorry about the camera work, but alright, so anyway, so now we're on to shelf number 13, and okay, I got a haul last week, so I ended up having to move some stuff around. You've heard this before, so when we last left off with Sin City, and so now we're going to start from there. Okay, we have Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. I just watched this last night, and it's a good movie. I don't like it as much as the first movie, but still, it's not bad. You still got the great characters and stuff in it, so yeah, so I don't mind it. Got some beautiful women in there, especially Eva Green. My God. But yeah, Jessica Alba looks good. Rosario Dawson, they all look good, so yep. So, like I said, don't like it as much as the first one, but still, Sin City, A Dame to Kill For, not bad. Sinister 2. Yeah, I really didn't mind this movie. I thought, this and the first Sinister, I thought I was going to hate those movies a lot more than I ended up doing, but nah, even this one turned out wasn't too bad, so yeah, Sinister 2. Some John Hughes here, 16 Candles. Classic 80s comedy, so really good. Some Broken Lizard. Unfortunately, this is kind of like the Broken Lizard movie nobody really talks about, the Slammin' Salmon. And I like this movie. I think it's a lot of fun. The characters are funny. You got the late, great Michael Clark Duncan there. And I always like when somebody corrects him, hey, he says something, hey, champ, the word is actually this. And whatever, motherfucker! So, yeah, but I always like this movie. I do enjoy it, so, yep. Slammin' Salmon. Okay, we got Slaughterhouse. Buddy has an axe to grind. Not the best movie of all time, but certainly not the worst either. I liked it. I remember being creeped out when I first saw the trailer as a kid, and it took a while, but I finally was able to get my hands on it. But yeah, I like this movie. I got nothing against it. So Slaughterhouse, Sleepaway Camp. I got the first one. I got all three Sleepaway Camp movies. I got the other two in the. Section where I keep my slipcover Blu-rays, and this one's kind of here. This one didn't come with the Blu-ray, but that was the thing. Okay, when I got this, I found all three of them at one time, and I could get a great deal on them, and that was basically, that was the sacrifice I had to make. Was this one didn't have a slipcover to it, but for the great price I was able to get it for, and to have all three movies for such a great deal. Yeah, I had to jump on that. On Blu-ray, too. These are that's right there. That's the Scream Factory edition. So yeah, so for that there, it's all like, maybe one day I might come across a slipcover somewhere, but for right now, it's like, you know what? I can live with it like this, as long as I have the Blu-ray and the bonus features and everything else. So I got the three Sleepaway Camp movies. Have to admit, not particularly anxious to get my hands on Return to Sleepaway Camp. If I find it for like $1 or $2 or something on DVD, I might pick it up. But yeah, I did see it advertised in the store the other day, and they want like $15 for it. And it was like, for that movie? No. I don't care how rare it is. I'll bide my time and wait and see if I can come across it on DVD for like $1 or $2. So, Sleepy Hollow, Tim Burton. I love this movie. This movie is fantastic. I really enjoy this flick. Man, I just knew when this came out, at first, I just knew everything I read about it, it sounded so good, and I knew I wanted to see it. That, Tim Burton directing, Francis Ford Coppola producing, Johnny Depp, Christina Ricci, Christopher Lee, so many great actors and actresses in this, and, reading in Fangoria that Tim Burton said basically his whole deal was that he wanted to do basically like if Hammer had done a version of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, that's what he set out to do with this movie, and it's brilliant. I love it. Sorority Row. I gotta do a review on this movie. It's funny. I was just thinking about like what movie could I do that has a lot of. Oh, sorry, let me get myself situated here. Sorry about that. But what movie could I do a review on that has lots of beautiful females, like right there, and I could do a horror review for my channel and stuff. And yeah, I think this will work just nicely. Got to do a little work on that, but don't be too surprised if before you know it, there's a video on my channel for Sorority Row. Got South Park seasons 1 through 5, 6 through 10. I'm keeping my eyes out for these because I do want to have. I like these. I like the way they save space on the shelf and everything else, and I'm hoping that I can find other ones. I'd like to find one that would have like 11 through 15 and 16 through 20, but yeah. I do like these, they save a lot of shelf. And South Park, I really didn't think there was going to be a big difference, South Park on Blu-ray, but there is. There truly is. South Park really does look a lot better on Blu-ray. So, Spaceballs, classic Mel Brooks. Pretty much, I think if you were a kid in the 80s, you loved Spaceballs. And I mean, come on, just that cast alone. Mel Brooks, John Candy, Rick Moranis. Hell yeah. It's one of the best 80s comedies there is. Now, Space Invaders. I remember a little while ago that Cinema Snob, he did a video kind of bashing this movie. I always liked this movie. I always thought it was really funny. It cracked me up. I laughed pretty much the entire time. I like the one alien here. He sounds like Jack Nicholson. And, I love a lot of the jokes those guys have between them. It's like, prepare to die or scum, prepare to die or scum. I'll make sure they put that on your tombstone. And just some of the things that they got, it's like, I like this movie a lot, it's like, the cops trying to arrest the alien. I just made a big mistake, didn't I? Ain't life a bitch? So, yeah, I like this movie. Cinema Snob may not, but I did. Okay, Spaghetti Western double feature. I admit, I just picked this up and I haven't had a chance to see these yet. The Last Gun and $4 for Revenge. Got these for a very, very low price. And, I do plan to, I really don't intend to have movies on my shelf that I'm not going to watch. And I do fully intend to watch these movies. And I will get around to it. It's just, as soon as I get the time, I promise I will. But, I'm not really one of those people. Like, I can't go out and just buy all these movies just to have them. I need to have I need to have movies that I know if I'm going to buy it and have it on my shelf and taking up space in my house, I'm going to watch it. So, Spartacus, Stanley Kubrick classic. I do have an urge to have every Stanley Kubrick movie. Species. This was actually my first haul video. I picked this up for. I only paid like $3 or $4 for it. So I know people will be like, "Oh, there's a Scream Factory version." I know, but at the same time, this really isn't my all-time favorite movie ever. So Split, pretty good movie. I do admit I'm ready to see. I am ready to see. Glass, see how that turned out. But yeah, Split was pretty good. I do have to admit though, I'm not really the sorry, I have to move again. Sorry about the shaky, crappy camera work, everybody. But yeah, I mean I'm looking forward to see Glass. I have to admit I'm not really the biggest fan of Unbreakable, not my favorite Shyamalan movie, but oh well. I'll still watch it. The late great Tobe Hooper, Spontaneous Combustion. Unfortunately, this is a movie of his that got Brad Dourif in here, and this movie kind of gets shit on a lot, but I love having it in my Tobe Hooper collection. I'm glad to finally own it. So, Spring Breakers, did a review on that, guys. So, Stan Helsing, as I've said before, you guys, I do love my spoof films, my comedy spoofs and parodies and stuff, and this one's no exception. And I don't love this movie, but it's got some good funny jokes in it. I thought it was okay. Not the best, but not the worst either. So, Stand By Me, Stephen King dramatic classic. You want to see the look on some people's faces when they say like, "Oh, Stephen King never made a good movie," or he never told the good stories. You just tell them, "Did you ever see Stand By Me?" Yeah. Or you ask them, "Did you ever see Shawshank Redemption?" Yeah. King wrote that. So yeah. So for everybody out there who thinks Stephen King never wrote a good story, here you go. The Stendhal Syndrome, Dario Argento, Ozzy Argento, Not my favorite Argento movie, I got to admit, but still really happy to have it in this. Really happy to have it in this version. So that's cool. Like that. The Stepfather, classic. Really would wish that I think it's Synapse has the second Stepfather movie. I really wish they would get around to putting that out on Blu-ray, and somebody get a hold of the rights to the three so we can have all three Stepfather movies. And I can definitely do without the remake. So I got some Stephen King's here. We got A Good Marriage. I like this movie. I really do. I really do enjoy this movie. This movie is so good. King wrote the script. You got Joan Allen, Anthony LaPaglia. I always thought Anthony LaPaglia was always a very underrated actor. I've always liked him, but Joan Allen, she does a great job in this movie. This is definitely like, if Hitchcock were still alive, I could easily see Hitchcock directing this as a movie. Easily. Like, this just seems so much. It makes me think of Hitchcock films like Shadow of a Doubt or Strangers on a Train or something like that. So I could easily see Alfred Hitchcock making this as a movie. It's so good. I really like this. Great thriller. Got Stephen King's It. So I actually do still enjoy this miniseries. I know that's kind of the big thing now. Like, this is a piece of crap compared to the remake, but I said it before when I talked about the other It. I said I think that the remake did some things better, but this did some things better. And nothing against Bill Skarsgård. I think he did fine as Pennywise, but I got to be honest. Tim Curry's, he's my favorite. Just my personal opinion, he's my favorite. So, but yeah, I gotta have So It, glad to have it on Blu-ray. Okay, Stephen King Sleepwalkers. I really do need to get off my butt and upgrade to the Scream Factory Collector's Edition, but and I do intend to, but just right now this is going to have to do it. So, but I do plan to upgrade that one. God bless all the films, because they put out. Sometimes they come back. This one, yeah, this kind of came and went back in the days of Stephen King TV movies, but I always liked it. Tim Matheson, Brooke Adams, Robert Russler. So, directed by Tom McLaughlin. Yeah, really good. He directed Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. So, I always liked this movie. Stir of Echoes, really good. Good Kevin Bacon ghost story. And David Koepp did a great job writing and directing it. Has some good, genuinely scary moments to it. So, based off of a book by another. I just talking about Stephen King so much. Let's talk. Take a second. We'll talk about another fantastic writer, Richard Matheson. So Richard Matheson, he wrote a lot of great books, and this was one of them. So yeah, Stir of Echoes, really love. Okay, we got De Niro, Norton, and Jovovich and Stone. Not bad. I have to admit, when it comes to Edward Norton and Robert De Niro, I kind of prefer the score more, but still, this is okay. Milla Jovovich, she looks good. Season 1 of The Strain, I'm behind. I think there's at least 3 more seasons of The Strain I need to get, but yeah, I do have the first. I came across this one for a really good deal, so yeah, I do need to get going and get the rest of the seasons of The Strain to have those. Straight Jacket and Berserker. I know that there is a Scream Factory edition of Straight Jacket, and but yeah, I admit I didn't have a lot of money at the time. I just went for this one because it was cheaper. So, Strange Brew, one of the first movies I ever reviewed on my channel. Great cult comedy. I love this movie. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. Absolutely one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. The Strangers, Pray at Night. Yeah, I have to make a bad confession. I haven't watched this yet. I need to get off my butt and do it, but yeah, I do have this. Stuck, with Stephen Ray and Mina Suvari, and directed by Stuart Gordon. Interesting flick, though, because it's actually, I think a lot of people remember that story about the woman who, I want to say it was in Texas. She hit a man with her car, and he got stuck in her windshield, and she freaked out, and the guy begged her to take him to a hospital, but instead she took him home, and the car, put the car in the garage, and he had been stuck there for days, and he died a very, very slow and horrible death, and very slow and painful. And this movie is kind of a kind of a loose adaptation of that true story, but yeah, but still, good Stuart Gordon flick. Okay, we got Student Bodies and Jekyll and Hyde Together Again, both great comedy horror spoofs. Student Bodies, sorry, Scream and Scary Movie, but this came out way back in the 80s, way before those movies ever did. And this one's pretty funny, I think it is. Jekyll and Hyde Together Again, I think that movie is hysterically funny. And it's kind of stupid, but boy, is it funny. So you got like a little cameo from Elvira in here, and except you don't know it's her, but yeah. Oh yeah, these two movies, I really enjoy these. These are both a lot of fun, so I'm happy to have those. Swamp Thing, I've defended this movie and talked about it plenty. I know it gets a shit ton of hate, but it's the first movie that I ever watched. They introduced me to Wes Craven, and I love it. I think it's great. Can't say enough good things about it. I enjoy this film. Suicide Squad, okay, I gotta be honest, I didn't think it was horrible. Not the greatest movie I've ever seen, but I like some of the characters in here. Diablo was good. I like Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, not just because she's hot, but I do admit Jared Leto is the Joker. I could not stand him. I understand. Don't get me wrong. I do understand. They were trying to go for something different, and they were trying to do a different interpretation of the Joker. I just didn't care for it. I didn't like it, so. But yeah, overall, the movie, I didn't mind it too much. I've seen worse, so. Super Troopers, got this one here. I got Super Troopers 2, and that's in the slipcover section, but I really like this movie. This movie is a lot of fun. It's very funny. I get a good laugh out of it, so yeah. Good Broken Lizard comedy. So I'm looking forward to that new one where, a new TV show where Heffernan and Lemmy, they play firefighters. I'm looking forward to that. And the very beginning of my Supernatural first season, the very beginning of, I need to start on my Supernatural collection. So that's going to be fun, especially all the season that show's got. And but yeah, Supernatural season 1, we're off to a start. Okay, now we got Survival of the Dead, George Romero. I know this movie gets a lot of hate, and I can kind of understand why, because Romero definitely does kind of stray from some of the formula of his zombie movies. Where usually, like, his zombie movies were, usually they were a social commentary about what was going on in the world, where Survival of the Dead was more just kind of a pure made-for-entertainment, Hatfield versus McCoy kind of a zombie film, but I still like it. I still got some enjoyment out of this. I thought it was entertaining and fun, so that's just me. But yeah, I did not hate this. All 6 of Romero's zombie movies I enjoy, so that's just me. Suspiria, I need to get around picking up the remake. Everybody keeps talking about how great the remake is, but I got the original one, and I do love the original one, so yeah. Suspiria. Sweeney Todd, not the biggest fan of musicals in the world, but I do enjoy this one. I really like the take that Tim Burton and Johnny Depp did on it, and yeah. It's bloody and gory and everything else, but still, I like it. Tales from the Crypt and Vault of Horror, wonderful. From Amicus, I love these versions of it. I love pretty much anything Tales from the Crypt I love, and Vault of Horror, that movie's a lot of fun too. 2 great horror anthologies, really happy to have them. Talladega Nights, I have to admit, I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of Will Ferrell movies, but I do like this one. This one had a lot of fun, Shake and Bake. Sacha Baron Cohen, is like, why don't you just say I like thin pancakes? So, but yeah, again, the late Michael Clark Duncan. So, yeah, that was good. Taste the Blood of Dracula. I need to get some of those ones from the Warner archives, like I think it's Satanic Rites of Dracula, Horror of Dracula, and Dracula 1972 AD, so I can have the Dracula movies on Blu-ray. I got them on DVD. I just need to get them on Blu-ray now, so. Yeah, I do love the Dracula Christopher Lee flicks. Okay, we got Ted, unrated. I got Ted 2, and like I said before, that one's got a slipcover. That's in the slipcover section, so yeah, I do have both Ted films. The Ten Commandments, classic. Used to watch that as a kid. Got Dario Argento, Tenebrae, another great Argento classic, so I really do want to try to have like a great collection of all the Argento hit films, and so I think I'm getting there. So But yeah, really happy to have Tenebrae is a great one. I'm really happy to have it. We got the Terminator. Awesome classic 80s movie. I didn't even think about it until people started talking about here recently how they think that Terminator is kind of more like a sci-fi horror film. It's like, okay, I could kind of see where they get that. Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. It's like, okay, compared to a couple of other Terminator movies I can name, I can live with Rise of the Machines. It's not the best in the series, but it's not that bad either. Okay, and next up we have Terrifier. One of the best horror movies that's come out in the last couple of years. I love this. I heard that there's a Terrifier 2 coming, and Art the Clown, and I can't wait to see it. I absolutely love Terrifier. I enjoy it so much. The Terror, yeah, classic. Boris Karloff and young Jack Nicholson, the late Dick Miller, directed by Roger Corman. So, yeah, thought that's for a good deal. Terror Train, Jamie Lee Curtis. Fantastic. Basically, like they said, it's Halloween on a train. So, but, yep, glad to finally have that one. Well, I don't mean finally. I've had it for a while. But Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. I like the remake. I already talked about it in my video when I talked about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series. I do like the remake. I just don't think it's as good as the original, but I think for a remake, it was actually really good. So, I like it. Theater Bazaar, horror anthology. Okay, like many horror anthologies, some of these stories are pretty hit or miss, but still not bad. One directed by Tom Savini, so that's cool. One directed by Richard Stanley, so David Gregory, so that's cool. The Thing prequel, I admit I haven't watched this, and I got this dirt cheap, and I will get around to watching it. I'm not in any great hurry. I know that sounds kind of contradictory to what I just said about, trying to make sure I have movies I'm going to watch, but this one here, this is kind of bending the rules a little bit, but I'll try to get around to this one soon. This is Spinal Tap, one of the best mockumentary comedies of all time. This movie is so good. I enjoy it tremendously. It's a lot of fun. We got armadillos down our trousers. Of course, everybody remembers the great classic line, but this goes to 11. So yeah, do love Spinal Tap. Three Amigos, John Landis comedy, Steve Martin, Chevy Chase, Martin Short, great film. A lot of fun, very funny. Mix of comedy and Western, but really good. George Lucas, THX 1138. Not the worst movie. Here's the problem. This movie is so different from anything else George Lucas has done. Because, we know George Lucas. You think of Star Wars, American Graffiti, Indiana Jones, stuff like that. And this was meant to be much more of like a art film and, kind of very, deliberately paced movie and stuff like that. But I didn't find it that bad. Tim Burton's Corpse Bride. Love this great animated movie. Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter. So, yeah, I do enjoy some Corpse Bride. Titanic. Yeah, I don't really need to talk about that. So. Toolbox Murders. I did a video talking about this. Very, very sleazy, but, not the best slasher movie in the world, but not the worst either. Like I said, sleazy as hell, though. But, yeah, I already did a video talking about this, so we don't need to go into that. Classic, Tourist Trap. I love this movie. My bad part, though, was I still had to keep my DVD because, yeah, that was the thing. As soon as I got this, people let me know on social media, dude, the Blu-ray has 5 minutes of the movie missing. And I started looking through. I was like, yeah, they're right. It does. So, yeah, I would say if you upgrade to the Blu-ray, if you still got the DVD, keep the DVD because, the Blu-ray is kind of shit because 5 minutes of the movie are missing. The Town That Dreads Sundown, the original, and the remake. I talked about those already did a video talking about those. And to finish off the shelf, we got Trading Places, Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy, John Landis comedy again, Jamie Lee Curtis, very funny in there. So yeah, that's going to do it. Okay, this one's going to be a little bit shorter than the other ones, but that's because of all the stuff I had to put in there. Okay, so we got one more shelf, and then we're pretty much going to be done with the Blu-rays for right now, and then we'll start on the DVDs. If anybody took the time to watch this video, I thank you for doing it, and I appreciate you for doing it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, please like and subscribe. And this is Sinema77, horror and cult film lover, and we're going to be back with plenty more. And I'll see you guys later. Have a good day. Bye-bye.